It's better leave it. All right, all right, all right. Hey, this is for the ladies and for the men. I know that's got men noted out throughout the description, but ladies, when you drop in, you qualify to be here as well. So listen, at what point are we going to admit? At what point are we going to admit that avoiding vulnerability keeps us trapped in that safe zone, that space that we've all built? I built a long time ago that I need to go to and run and hide when my feelings get hurt. When I feel that sting, right? Where I'm not sure how to respond, so I make up all kinds of excuses. Right? And just ringing a bell for anybody out there, right? And look, what has silence been costing you? When you go to that place of silence, withdraw, silence, keep your mouth shut, whatever that is, you can see it as I'm talking to you. For those of you that exercise, hey, listen, I'm guilty of it, man. I'm still guilty of this as recent as yesterday. Right? Where my feelings got hurt, and I was engaging in the conversation with my wife, and I, rather than just say, hey, I was wrong first. I was wrong, and my feelings got hurt, right? So I chose to do the silent piece of it. But inside, I was screaming, man, this is not how you do this. This is not. There's no reason for this. You kind of step into it, do something different. But I was trapped in that space that I'm talking to you guys about. That happens, and I'm here talking to you every week about, silence is not strength, but it's wisdom. Silence is avoidance of what's really going on. I'm talking about all this stuff with you, but I am guilty of it still today. So this is the real thing. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Geoff Tyson, and I'm affectionately known as the Comeback King, and founder of Comeback King Enterprises, where we believe that the world is meant for people to understand that the comeback's not only a lifestyle, but it's an important process that we all must face, right? And it's not that we're broken, right? It's about the developmental piece of our lives, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically. All of that, man, that's an important part of our life to become who we're supposed to be as human beings, man. So anyway, listen. So I'm here to just talk to you again, fellas and ladies, because we're bringing some ladies to the table now about this subject. So what has silence been costing you? What I'm kind of giving you an example of when you're supposed to be communicating and you choose to go quiet, you choose not to say anything, you may blame it on not wanting to blow up, whatever that excuse is, you go there, you go in that safe spot, and then nothing gets resolved. What's it costing you? Not only about the relationship that you're dealing with, but what about your health, right? Internal peace. I wondered when I was early on in my life, when I was really caught up in this stuff, I really wondered why, my back would start hurting, or, I had some things going on. I'm this corporate guy, sharp, knotted up, right? And I got little patches of my hair coming out, right? Yeah, found out later that was called alopecia, right? And because I didn't deal with the things that were going on in my life from years ago, right? And working to keep everything on the outside looking good so I could kind of stand in that space, faking it until I make it, right? So I'm just talking about Geoff a little bit. So I qualify. I'm not judging. It's not a judgment conversation that I mean to have for you. I may be blunt, I might be a little rough on the edges, but man, that's just how I know how to deliver. And so I'm not for everybody, but for those of you that I am for, man, we will line up and make some stuff happen. But anyway, so what is it? Health, internal peace. So, I got a couple of notes here, and tonight, just really, as quick as we can, we'll go through that mirror moment piece, that second part that helps kind of step through the first loop, right? So, because vulnerability does not, I don't want to say this, because vulnerability does not make a man weak or a woman weak. If I can stop there for a second, I was talking to a powerful young lady yesterday, and she was talking to me about women and vulnerability. She said something, man, so profound, and it made sense because it kind of spoke about my mom a little bit around how women of color, in particular, are made to just naturally have a harder, the more serious and harder posture, and showing emotion is not freely shown, right? And they sound like they go through the same types of things that men go through. They don't cry, right? They don't. I mean, this is she was just talking to me about her side of it. Geoff, I feel this way, and I saw my mom cry for the first time. She was like, "What's wrong with mom?" Because she had never seen it before, right? So it goes both ways, man. But that didn't mean her mom was weak. That didn't mean my mom was weak, right? My mom was a powerful woman, but she didn't show emotion for a while, right? She held everything back. She was stoic, man. Pops was stoic. When later on we softened them up a little bit, right? Once I started to understand that, hey man, this thing called vulnerability is necessary, right? And stop hiding my feelings and stop listening to the lies that we're told about how we're supposed to be strong as kids and men, as you know, have no emotion, don't show weakness, all that stuff I keep talking about every day. Why do I keep talking about it? Because people still let that part of their mind, their spirit, run their emotional decisions. In other words, for a long time in my life, I let the 5-year-old boy teach me or allow me to behave in relationships. That boy that was scared knew that being honest was the bad thing to do, running from running from affection, all that stuff, right? I mean, so if that's you, you know, drop it in the comments. I've already told y'all that's me for sure, man. Right? So drop it in the comments if that's you. This is just a conversation, a safe space to have something that we can think about, fellas, because I'm gonna tell you something as much as you got going on in your life, man, when you step into this space of peace, internal peace from being vulnerable, trusting, and just, you know, a whole nother level opens up for you. I mean, a whole nother piece does, man. And you know, yeah, you gotta have the right partner, and that might even help you. And I'm really speaking to those that are in a relationship that they want to keep, and the marriage that they want to work with, and all of that stuff. You know, you guys out there playing the field, you know, I mean, I can help you also, right? But tonight I ain't here really, you know, I ain't got nothing for you other than to say that just be careful in that space. Be careful with who you work with. Be careful with who you involve yourself with. Right? Be respectful of that person. Whatever you're doing in your relationships, right? So we don't judge. Right? I've done it all. So you know, ask me sometime. I can tell you. Anyway, so what are we talking about? Vulnerability does not make a man weak or woman weak. Avoiding it does. Going into silence, blaming, pointing your finger at other people, saying all these things as to why you behave in a certain way. And it's all withdrawal from having to deal with what's really going on. Right. And yesterday we talked about, man, putting a name on it, right? Put a name on what it is to the best of your ability as to why you behave a certain way. Who is that person that's running the show? What are the triggers that are coming up? Right, identify with them things and drop it in here. If you know what they are, man, you know, drop it in here. Tell me what it is. Ooh, hey, professional Christy from Florida, Tiffany. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate y'all dropping in on a Saturday evening. I ain't gonna keep you long, man. It's just, you know, it's just something that we got to get through, right? Because it's necessary, fellas. We can no longer listen to the lies about vulnerability, humility, surrender, right? And no matter how many zeros you have in your bank account, no matter how many cars you drive, how many houses you own, whatever that piece is on the outside will not fix what I'm talking about. And it will not allow you to really embrace life to your fullest. Hey, that's just how it is, man. Anyway, so look, I'm gonna show you something. Let me figure this thing out here real quick, and then we're gonna get on with the rest of the night for you. But thanks. Drop in the comments if there's something that I'm missing that you'd like to hear, or if you, and particularly from the ladies' perspective, right? I really encourage you to, man, continue to show up like you have been, and man, share this information with your friends. So anyway, look, check it out. I talked to you about the first day yesterday. This is the mirror moment 3-step framework that I kind of trademarked years ago when I went through all the things that I went through, blowing up a relationship, a marriage I thought would last forever because I got weak and I didn't see vulnerability as a, I couldn't get to vulnerability. I was guarded. I couldn't be honest, right? I chose. I shouldn't say couldn't. I chose, man. We make different choices. I made different choices when I was hiding behind something. Ooh, I'm gonna say that again. I made different choices when I was hiding behind something. But anyway, where are you in your choice making? So anyway, so look, today I'm talking about breaking the loop. And what do I mean by that? I mean the behaviors that we've been talking about, right? Yesterday it was about naming the pattern, naming what it is that's really unresolved, that pain that you're still struggling with, that you haven't dealt with. Name that, right? And look at recognize your triggers, what triggers you, naming it, and the patterns that you follow, because it starts. And I know I talked to a lot of guys. They said, "Man, I thought I had it figured out," and then we got into another conversation, and then oh yeah, something came up about something I never dealt with her before that's still lingering. Some of it is latent, man, old stuff. Some of it's new, and it's everything in between, right? So anyway, put it in there when you hear. What is it for you? What is it that what's resonating with you right now? And so here today, let me make sure I'm not missing something here, because avoiding it does loop breaks when a man stops performing. You got to stop performing, right? We were talking about breaking the pattern, shaking up the loop right now, man or woman, shaking it up. Figuring when you stop performing, when you stop acting, when I surrendered the fact that, man, something was wrong with Geoff in this space, I didn't know what it was. Took me a little while to get to the other point, because yeah, just took me a while to get to where I'm talking to you about today. But I got there just like you will, right? So look at the part number two. The mirror moment is really just a powerful exercise that you can do on your own, man. Facing the mirror, number one, simple. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Ha. Ooh, am I the honest of them all? Mirror, mirror on the wall. You know, that's a story. Can't hide from that. Can't hide from the image looking back at you. You can't hide. So, man, get into the mirror. You can do it in your own privacy, right? And then look at that. Think about it. Separate the shame from the truth. That's day number two. Because there was some shame around the behaviors that I had. You know, I took on shame, and man, shame is not, you know, it's a whole nother conversation around shame. But shame is something that we pick up, we don't need to carry. We can put it down. No one should shame you, and you shouldn't shame yourself, but we do, right? But own the truth. When you look at the truth, then you can have some more comfort around it, right? And forgive yourself, right? You shame yourself until you forgive yourself. When you forgive yourself, stop shaming yourself, right? Anyway, so and then grieving, having some grieving process, man. Listen, when you get into this stuff we're talking about, it's going to impact you. You're going to have some emotions. You're going to have some feelings around it. Listen, I'll encourage some folks that have not unpacked it and you've been carrying it since whatever the beginning of it. Man, don't be shy. Go get you some therapy if you need it. I am not a therapist. I come from an earned PhD perspective, baby. What I'm talking about is earned, proven, and earned from my own. And yes, I've had some therapy in my walk as well. So listen, I encourage it, man. This is some real stuff, because it ain't not going to change until you deal with it. I'm going to keep telling you that. I'm going to keep saying that. People will tell you different things, but they ain't going to do that. So anyway, grieving and let go of the old script. Yes, forgive yourself. Thank you, Tiffany. Man, that's it. Forgiveness is a powerful tool, man. It begins the healing process, and you can't heal what you don't reveal. And when you can't forgive, mm, forgiveness starts with yourself. So anyway, so we were talking about breaking the loop right here. We're going to release yourself from all this thinking that you've been carrying around this subject, right? The lies that you've been told, the behaviors that you executed that you're not proud of, or the things that you made a promise, I'm gonna do something different, and you haven't been able to do something different. That has an impact on us also. How many times have you? I want you to do something this week. I want you to pay attention to how many times you say you're going to do something, and how your mood is at that point when you say, "Yeah, I'm going to do this at this time," and how you're feeling about it, and then how you feel when you don't do it. Right, to yourself, to the commitment to yourself, man. Forgiving yourself is a powerful thing. Grieving through the process is a powerful thing. But man, just do that little exercise. Why am I wanting you to do that? Because it's all driven by energy and all these other things. So look, what do we got here? So we talked about separating the shame from the truth. First one is put a name to it. Be aware of what you're going through. Put a name on it. And now we're talking about separating it from the shame from the truth. And when I come to you about this stuff, man, I really want you just to think about it. I really want you just to kind of, for just a moment, embrace yourself and where you are, right? Facing the mirror, becoming aware. And number two is the releasing of it. Start to release some of the pain that you've been carrying, some of the shame that you've been carrying, some of the guilt that you've been carrying. Begin to release that. If you believe in God, He says, hand over all the things that are burdening you, my son or daughter. Place them at my feet, right? Whatever you believe, man, to help you get free. Because here's what's happening. Discipline, the real truth comes when you start to talk about what we're doing. When we face the things that we've been hiding and start telling the truth. Face the things that we've been hiding, start telling the truth. This is where true discipline comes around, right? This is where your comeback starts, baby. Listen, this is where your comeback starts, right? I mean, that's the whole crux of what we're talking about here, and bringing you back to owning it, taking the responsibility, giving yourself a break, showing yourself forgiveness. And man, really, listen, I know you don't know most of the time starting out, showing vulnerability, receiving vulnerability is a new thing. I was talking to Tiffany about that, the young lady, and about that just yesterday or the other day around, man, I talk a lot about being vulnerable, but do you really know how? You tried it and you got your butt kicked and you got your feelings hurt, so you stopped. So do you really know how? Do you know how to treat somebody that's vulnerable, that's willing and open like that? And so do you know how to treat him? Or do you respond to him, look at him kind of weak, right? Maybe because you're not used to it. There's all that going on. So anyway, I want you to just practice that exercise. Pay attention to how many times you break your own word to yourself, right? And do this one exercise. And then tomorrow, Sunday, we close this whole thing up, right? It's the third piece of the mirror moment, build the comeback. We're going to look at installing a new identity, man, the boundaries that are necessary, and a daily practice that sticks, right? Boundaries that are necessary, new identities, and daily practice that stick, and walk into a new way of thinking, a new way of behaving, a new appreciation for yourself. So I'm going to say this to you as we wrap this up. Have a fantastic Saturday evening. I encourage you to go to Conversations with Geoff, like and share and subscribe. Do yourself a favor. Put the bat down. That one that says whatever you got going on is carrying the shame and the guilt. And listen, forgive those that have told us about being brave and vulnerable is all that noise that we were confused about. Forgive them for that. And let's step into this space together. Let's line up shoulder to shoulder, right? And if you have a desire to have a call with me, my scheduling private number information is in there in the comment sections. I think if you can't find it, hit me up. And I ask you to do this. Comment truth, right? Comment truth if you're really looking for something. This resonated with you in any way. So we can continue to show up and bring you more of what we believe is a necessary thing. And tell me if there's something that you could definitely gain, something that's on your mind that you want to talk about. We also do that too. So, hey, you guys have a fantastic day. We'll see you tomorrow. And remember, man, the comeback is not only a lifestyle, it's a necessary process. And it reminds you, we're building a community of 10 million people that know that they are not broken. And the process of life, the comebacks and the roadblocks, and all those things are built so we can step into our purpose, step into our greatness. And let's just focus on being good humans. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Take care. Click the link, set the appointment up if you want to talk. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.